Hello, everybody. Okay, we're waiting for people to join us here. We are with Alba Weinman
Hi.
at Alba's Oasis. Ready. It's a bit hot out today.
Very.
Okay, so anyone joining now, welcome back to 90 Degree Turns. I'm your host, Tricia Margus, and today we are with Alba Weinman at Alba's Oasis in Micanopy, Florida. Alba, it's so great to see you again.
Nice to see you. It's been a while.
Last we talked was in 2019.
Yes.
I believe we were in North Carolina.
Yep.
So this is great to be back here live again. And now we're in a completely new location. It's called Albas Oasis, and it's phenomenal. There are oak trees everywhere. There's a beautiful, like, wild pond.
That's a lake.
A lake
That's
behind
the Willow
us.
Lake. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. You've been telling me that there's alligators. And
there's one right back there.
Sometimes you can see them popping their eyes out. There's so many different kinds of birds. Yeah. The sun's been shining all day. Yeah. It's just a gorgeous property and location. So maybe for our viewers that don't know your work, let's dive into, like, what is your passion, and we'll go from there.
Well, right now my passion is nature because that's where I'm here. But I do hypnosis. I do hypnotherapy, and I've been doing that since 2014. And I have gradually been acquiring new skills, new talents, new modalities. So it's been changing. And recently I've added tuning forks to the mix, and frequency sessions and light therapy sessions, and whatever I can get my hands on that'll help my clients. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, and it's very transformative work. I know we had a session earlier, and it's a wonderful experience for anyone looking to dive into the world of, like, hypnosis and hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be worried about. I mean, the movies like to portray it in certain aspects, but it's nothing like that at all. So I'd love to know then, Alba, what brought you to this calling of being out in nature and doing your sessions out here?
Yep. Well, it's a long story. On my channel, in fact, this week I did publish something that happened to me in Peru. I had what might be called a near-death experience. It wasn't really that I died, but a different aspect of me came in. Part of the old Alba died, a new Alba came in. And this new Alba had to be around nature. I came back from Peru. It was right when COVID started, and everybody was under lockdown, and I couldn't fit in Miami anymore. My vibration was different. So the main thing that I wanted to do is be around trees. I had to be around trees. And I got on Zillow looking for a property to go to, and I realized, you know what, I really don't know where I want to be. If I'm going to be there for a while, I want the lay of the land. So I moved to Gainesville, Florida, which is where my son lives, and I rented for a year, and I got to know the area. And just up a few miles from here is Payne's Prairie, and Payne's Prairie is a natural preserve. It's beautiful. It's got all of this wonderful land, and that's where I realized that's what I wanted to be. And I wanted to be in that, and I wanted to make my home like a healing center for people. And so when people come to have a session with me, the land heals you. Just sitting on this dock, looking at that is healing. Sitting on the swing, just decompressing, I guess, from the session is a very healing experience. So that's what I was called to, is to be here in this area. And it's a beautiful, beautiful area.
I concur completely. It's magical because there's really old oak trees here. I mean, I've seen some oaks, but the ones that are here look like they're from Avatar.
Yes.
It's magical. They're gorgeous. It's like they can almost come alive and talk. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing to see, and all the nature. You can hear the cicadas around us.
Yes.
Maybe even like the alligators making their sounds, you know, and
Yes.
it's a gorgeous environment to be in. And coming from Chicago, this is an oasis, I tell you.
Yeah.
It really is, to be away from the hustle and bustle of the city, and to come out where you still have cell service and internet, you know, but you're connected to real nature, which is beautiful.
And what you haven't experienced, we may experience it later on, is the frogs. There's a lot of frogs here, and you will hear the frogs start chirping. And I don't know if you recall when you go to a football stadium, they do the wave where everybody it starts in one place, and well, the frogs do that. It starts, and all of a sudden you feel them all doing that, and then it just then stops, and then they start again. It's really amazing.
The frog wave.
It's the frog
with
wave.
rivets.
Well, it doesn't sound like a rivet. It just sounds like a chirp. Yeah, it's very strange. We may hear it. Who knows?
I'm hoping.
Yeah. A little bit later, you may hear it.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Yeah. No, and I mean, nature has its way of expressing itself in all different ways.
Right,
and I've never heard a frog wave. You know what I mean?
Either.
No, but it's awesome. Like I've heard frogs this week when I've been out in Florida, and it's lovely to hear like that sound they make.
Yeah.
But in mass.
Yes.
First time for me, so fingers crossed that it'll happen.
Yeah, maybe it'll happen while we're even talking.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet. So let's talk about the energy difference, because it said that when you were in Miami, you just couldn't kind of be there anymore. And Miami is very known. There's a lot of energy there. People go there for all sorts of fun outings and stuff, you know. So what was that change? Like, was there just the parks that were there weren't enough, the ocean? Or was it that something about the trees you had to be around?
Miami is very congested. There's a lot of people, a lot of traffic, and a lot of energy, high energy. As a tourist, you would be going to Miami Beach, you'd be going to the clubs and stuff. But where I lived is a very congested, just a lot of traffic. I mean, I lived, I'm listening for the frogs. I lived in an area where right across the street, there was a 7-lane street. It wasn't even a highway. So it was very congested, and I needed this peace. Something changed in me that I needed to be in nature.
Like immersed.
Totally. I just felt like, and another thing is I had to save the trees. I had this thing about saving trees. I wanted to be in an area where the maintenance people just couldn't come and chop trees because they were getting too tall or too wide. You know, and in Miami, it's hurricane season, so everybody goes out there and chops all the limbs of the trees. And I was feeling horrible because the trees all looked like they had no arms. They were just straight up. And I wanted to be in a place that really honored the trees. And I live in Micanopy, and they have laws about trees. You know, they don't let you tear up the trees. So I've come to the spot where I fit in with the agreement. That is a grunt of an alligator.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys can hear that. We definitely heard it. I heard it in my left ear.
This is alligator mating season, and they do that.
Love is in the air.
Yes, they do that bellowing to call for their girlfriends and boyfriends.
Yeah. Well, I can definitely agree personally that it's like living within nature and around it, or at least having the time to escape, whether it's into like a forest preserve.
Yeah.
Or the beach, or whatever is near you, a body of water. I think that does a lot for the soul, you know. And I'm looking at the oak trees from here, and it's like they're gorgeous. They have moss growing on them, which I didn't know
moss
happens in Florida.
Yeah.
I thought this was only a Pacific Northwest thing where trees have moss, but I love trees as well. I absolutely love them. So to see them here, just all in all their glory, and that they're protected, it really it lights my heart up. And I'm sure many of our viewers probably feel the same way.
Yeah.
You know, so. Your channel, Alba, is quite large. It's almost a mass, 65,000 subscribers.
Yes.
Your videos, they range from people who do channelings, people who talk about like the ascension to come, or histories past, all sorts of variety.
Yeah.
I'd love to know, like, with the clients that you have, do you learn just as much yourself as much as the clients do about themselves when they come in?
One of the things that I learned really early on is that we as hypnotists we attract the people who are just like us. So they would come to me with issues and questions that I had. And well, I'd be interviewing these clients, and I'm thinking, well, yeah, I have the same issue. So as they were being guided through whatever issues they were having, I was healing. And I think that's what's happening with all of my viewers is that we're really all we all have the same type of issues. Sorry, we have little mosquitoes and gnats. uh, and so the as the viewers are watching this, they find that as the client is healing, they're also healing. So you can always find something in those sessions that you can use.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that's the thing about it is that people find, and they're learning. They're learning. This is um, like metaphysical university. Every one of my videos has something new to learn. So yeah, I'm learning a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
But what it's done for me, it's given me a lot of peace of mind because I understand that we really all are on earth to learn. And that's okay. We're all in different levels of learning, and nobody's really ahead of anybody else. We're just learning in different things. And when I say learning, it's almost like remembering because we've all done this before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chosen to be here at this
Yeah.
adventurous time in the world,
Yes.
you know, and so we really do get to experience the point I feel like of our existence here is to expand.
Yep.
And to collect fun memories, all kinds
Exactly.
of memories, all sorts of learning experiences, like
Yes.
you're saying.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
All of it. All of it. You know, but from there we grow and then we can choose wiser, right?
Yeah.
Or course correct. It's all part of the process.
It's all part of it.
Yeah. That expansion is never ending, right? Like we have our inner expansion and then we have our universe is constantly expanding and then the further out there. So it's infinite.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And one of the things that I think makes my channel a little bit different, well, I was one of the first ones to start putting out sessions for hypnosis because most hypnotherapists would never share um, their their clients' information. That was very private. So I make sure that my clients give me permission to share it. And most of my sessions do not go on YouTube because they're very private. Yours, for example, was a very private session. It has to do with family issues. You don't put that stuff out there. So it's just, and they're very, it's very normal. It's a normal life. But we do get extraterrestrial stuff. We get other stuff that maybe if you're ready, uh, you can get into that stuff. But it has everything, so you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I think is so cool about the work you do is the ones that are put on there, they're very captivating sessions where you just don't hear about it every day, you know,
Exactly.
the things that I've seen from your channel. It's very always interesting. You never know what you're going to get.
No.
You know, and so I mean that's something that curiosity is our natural part of being human, right? So to see and learn, even if it is about something that's outside of this planet or like being a blade of grass or something, like you learn so many different things from such different angles, you know. So let's talk about this book here. It's been sitting here, and it's called the Discourse.
Yes.
And it says here 12 channeled hypnosis sessions to prepare humanity for ascension.
Yeah.
So what first inspired this book? Because it's always wonderful when you take the time, you know, to write down your thoughts to paper and share it with the world. So
that wasn't the book.
No.
This was not about our thoughts. What happened here is I had a session with Jill Cole in New Zealand a few years ago when I went to New Zealand. She knew nothing about me. She thought my sessions were really easy to book, and she just happened to get my last session in New Zealand. And she channeled amazing information from the Intergalactic Confederation something of light. I don't remember exactly what it was.
A distant place.
A distant place, yes. And she was told that we were going to be working together. I wasn't planning to go back to New Zealand, but I found myself back in New Zealand. She actually invited me back, and she invited my colleague Antonio Sanjo to do an introspective hypnosis class there in a gathering. And I had another session with her. And her guides came through again saying, you're going to be working together, and you're going to be working together. Okay? And I'm thinking, come on. That's not going to happen because we're in two different parts of the world. I'm not going to be working with her in New Zealand. So when COVID started, I had to change the way I operate. I used to only do in-person sessions, and now I had to do online sessions. So now I could work with her. And her guides basically told her that we were going to write a book. And it was going to start like now. And so we started doing sessions, and we thought it was going to be private, that no one was going to know until the book came out. It was going to be 12 sessions. And we put out the first session. I did the first session. I did the second session. At the end of the second session, they said, you need to start putting this information out now. So from sessions 3 to 12, they are on my channel under the playlist, the Discourse. And this happens to be the 12 sessions. And it has everything you need to know about what you need to do to prepare for these changes that are happening. And it's one of these books that you can pick up anywhere and just get information, because it just has so many different subjects. And the way we did it is her guides would give us a few topics, sometimes 2 or 3 topics, sometimes more. And I would take her into hypnosis, and all of a sudden stuff would come out, information would come out, and then I would weave in to the session these topics that they wanted to discuss. Sometimes I didn't even have to weave it, they'd start talking about it. So this is what the Discourse was all about. It's a phenomenal book, it really is. We don't feel like we're the authors, we feel like the midwives. It's very different when people are saying, oh, I'm the author of this book. I actually feel like the midwife of this book, because it was brought through to humanity, and it is on Audible and it's on Kindle. So you can actually hear the sessions. If you don't want to watch it on video, you have the 12 sessions. And I mean, you could, and it even talked about this land here, because a lot of the sessions were very personal to Jill and me. So the guides used us as an example. And of course, we already know whatever issues we're having, other people are having. So it didn't matter. And I explained that I was looking for trees, and they said, there's a page in there, it says, yes, there is a tree for you, waiting for you. And it's going to give you a lot of comfort. And I'm like frustrated saying like, yeah, but this is a big country. Where is this tree?
Which trees?
Yes, and there it is. And Tricia, you could see the magnificent tree that is just kind of cuddling my house. So it's a great book. I really think it's phenomenal. It's a great thing to just have on the side of your bed table, at night, and just read a little bit of it. It's not one of those books you have to read from cover to cover. You could really read different things because they repeat stuff over and over again. Do you want to read what's on the back of it? Because it kind of tells you what it is.
So it says here, the following information was channeled by Jill Cole through 12 hypnosis sessions facilitated by Alba Weinman. It says, there's bullet points. So what happens when you die? Who are you? What do you live for, and why do you live? What is a guide and a higher self? Do you have multiple lives? How are you connected to Source, God, the all that is? And is it possible to speak with spirits or deceased loved ones? And then it says, what is ascension, manifestation, the event, the great leveler, the awakening?
Yep. That's what's in the book.
Yeah, and the picture's really cool. It's a globe with like what looks like to be a spirit coming out.
Yeah, yeah.
So, wow, very captivating.
Yeah.
What is your opinion then on ascension? Is it like waves of people when certain people are ready, they'll go on to where they're supposed to go next?
I never really know. I can't say I really do know for sure, because we don't.
And there's so many simultaneous.
But for example, we are ascending into different levels. I don't even want to call it dimensions, or everybody, either density, either dimension. just me being on this land, I know that I'm not in the same space as other people. I am creating on a different level. I'm living at a different level. This is my new earth for me.
And that brings up a good point, right? Because many people think, oh, the new earth, like it's not here yet. We have to go to 5D. We have to go and create it. The way you create it is from here.
Yes.
And if you find it from the inside, inner new earth, right? Inner you, inner true you, then it will express on the outside.
And that's exactly what
quantum
I've done
physics
here.
can prove that too, and you've done it.
Yes,
right?
That's what I did. When I realized that this is what I manifested, this is the type of place that I wanted to be in, I never in my mind ever thought I would be living in a place like this. I mean, I didn't think places like this existed. But
private ownership for sure. This is it's gorgeous.
Yeah, and no
Just
neighbors.
Look at that alligator back there.
Just an alligator. I don't know if you can see the alligator, but
we don't have those back where I'm from.
But it's just, I think this is what living in 5D is. This is what it's like. You're at a different vibration. You feel an inner peace. You manifest very quickly what you want. Very quickly.
It's almost surprising.
Very fast. And things just happen, and things don't bother you as much. So I know that everyone can be at this. It's really a state of being.
Yeah.
And you could be in that state of being in the middle of Chicago, in the middle of New York City. It's a state of being that you create your own.
Yes, it doesn't matter where you are. I mean, this is a beautiful sanctuary that you have. But how did you get to this point? Was something changed within that this was like a vision?
Yes.
And you're like, okay, point A to point B, let's
Exactly.
go. I don't know how.
Yeah.
And it shows up on Zillow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and one of the things that I think is really important is that the reason I wanted this place was not for me only, even though it's for me, but I wanted a place where I could bring my clients to allow them to heal here, to give them even if it's a one-day retreat away from everything that's going on in their life. And one day of just sitting in nature like this really does a lot to you. The water is doing something. The air is doing something.
Cicadas.
Everything.
Sound.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love them.
Yeah.
Summertime when you hear them,
Well, you don't need summertime for here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's noises here all the time. So yeah.
It's a magical place, and for everyone that joined this live, thank you for joining us here. It's great to talk with you, Alba, and see you after a few years of separation. We were just doing different things, and if anyone wants to see, there's a part 1 and part 2 that we have. It'll probably be linked in the bio or somewhere on here. But Alba, this is great. Where can we find you then? Tell us your main channel.
Everything is listed under Alba Weinman, ALBA WEINMAN, and I have a YouTube channel under that name with different types of playlists on there. And I also have my website, albaweinman.com. And I'll just tell you about how people get hypnosis sessions with me, because I do things a little bit different than the normal people. I can't operate like a normal hypnotherapist. I have a newsletter which I send out once a month, and when you sign up for that newsletter, you get information about not only sessions here in Micanopy in person, but also I do a few on Zoom. I'm trying to get away from doing as many on Zoom because they're very tiring for me. For some reason, I just can't sit behind a computer that much anymore. After being here, I don't know, I've changed. So I do a few Zoom sessions for people down under. I do them in the evenings, and then I do a few for people everywhere else in the world. But my whole thing is to have you come here. I don't have that many sessions per month. But when you do come, I do offer for you to stay here on my property. Instead of renting a hotel room, you could rent my little guest suite. And I have a cabin too, with an outdoor shower, which I'm sure she's going to be trying out today. So you're part of nature. And I do also have, I offer Pandora Star light therapy sessions. These are deep, it's a deep meditation lamp As long as you don't suffer from seizures or anything like that, you sit under this lamp. It's got 12 LEDs that flicker at certain rates and some nice music, and it's just for kind of zoning out.
Okay.
So you'll be trying that.
Yeah, that'll be later tonight.
Yes.
So that'll be.
So you can try
I'm
that.
excited.
Yeah, you can also have a session like that, and yeah. So that's how you get a session with me. You sign up for the newsletter. It's got a link to a calendar, a monthly calendar. They go like that.
Okay.
So
And how do we get to your newsletter? From your website?
yeah, albaweinman.com and then slash, I think it says newsletter. That's all you need. You sign up, you get it once a month, and it also tells you about gatherings that I have. I have gatherings here on the property. It's way too hot at this time. I mean, you would melt out here if you spent more than a few minutes. And we have Zoom gatherings. I'm actually having one next month.
Okay.
People are with me 8 hours, and we do a lot of different exercises together, and we do a group regression and a nice meditation at the end. And what I really love having people do with me is my scalar wave frequency sessions. I actually do the ancient solfeggio scalar waves on the scalar wave machine and through tuning fork. So people will join me on a Zoom call. I'll be doing the scalar waves in the background, and then I just play some music, but I explain to them what chakra we're working on. I explain everything about the chakra, the color, the location, and then I strike the tuning fork a few times, even though the frequency is already running in the background, but at least they get an audio. And within my own voice, as my voice goes through this, and with the frequencies and the vibrations, it's an amazing meditation. So I know that my voice sends out some sort of frequency too. So I know that that's part of it. So I have sessions that are like 60 minutes and one that's like 90 minutes. And I ended off in a nice meditation. So those are really powerful because you get a bunch of people together, and I call them my flames of light. And we ignite those flames and we do a meditation. It's just amazing.
Well, the more energies are connected, right? You can,
absolutely.
things happen so much. The more people are on the same wavelength, essentially,
Yes.
you will
Yes,
create things in a much quicker rate.
exactly.
Wow.
So I have one coming up. You can go to my website, albaweinman.com, under frequencies, and you can see there's one this Friday that happens, I guess, at 7 o'clock at night. I did that one for people down under also. And I have one in July, Sunday morning.
Okay.
So that's a good way to start Sunday.
Yeah.
Very relaxing. And so I'm going to be doing more of those. I didn't have internet for like a good internet for like 10 months. When I moved here, I had a hotspot basically with very limited service, and that weaned me off of technology to be in nature. But now I've got my little Starlink. You can see it over there, and I've got high speed, so I can do more of these. You see it?
Yeah, I see
The
it.
little-
It's right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my little
I
Starlink.
didn't know what that was.
That's my internet after
Yeah.
10 months of waiting. So
Well, it's fast.
it's fast.
It's fast.
It's fast compared to what I was working on. So now I could offer more of these frequency sessions. And if anybody tunes into my channel, check out my video, which is Rebirthing Alba Weinman, and you'll understand how important these sessions are to get the vibrations out there. It's really good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Alba, well, thank you.
You're
It's been a
welcome.
pleasure to talk to you again.
Yes.
This time on this beautiful land. And if anybody has any questions, you can connect with Alba on her website.
Yep, absolutely.
And if you like the video, like it, subscribe, share it with people that you like. And we'll see you on the next round, guys. So thank you for tuning in. And again, this is Alba's book, The Disclosure. I'm sorry.
You're on the wrong.
I'm on
wrong frequency.
The Discourse. I read it too quickly. So thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Alba.
You're
And
welcome. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye.
All right.